I should change my channel and call it Fixing Cars in the Rain. So, put it into gear. You don't want to go any further, just to hold back a little bit. Let's watch the dash. She is on. Yes! What a day to go changing my ABS sensor. But I got to get it done though, because my steering's so heavy. So let's stop moaning and do it. Oh, can't wait until it gets warm. So I've got to get this car on my drive. It's a little bit steep. And there's my nice little 2 warning lights, which I'm hopefully going to remove today. So I'll get this problem fixed, and there's a whole load of others that I need to fix on my 21-year-old Mercedes, but I do love this car. My wiper washer motor, that's not working. Hopefully it's just worn out. It might be a fuse, but nevertheless it's not working. This has just started happening, look. They're not retracting. I think they've got a bit kind of corroded in there with the moisture that I get inside. Oh, the joys, but it's such a lovely car that I can't complain. It's been excellent, it really has. Right, so I'm gonna get up this drive. It is a little steep, and I'm trying not to hit the front of my car. So I've already got the sensor in my little box here. I've also got the engine sensor as well, because I've got to change the O2 sensor, but that's a more simpler job, he hopes. So one of these is going to be my, could be this one. It's going to be my ABS sensor. What I'm going to do is I'm going to plug it in before I fit it and see if the light goes off the dash, and then I know that's what the issue is. Because I just done the right hand side, it was corroded in, and that was about 6 months ago when the weather was nice and warm. So here's my sensor, that's all good. Let's get these mats down and try and get myself a little bit drier. Makes all the difference having a bit of mat. So because my lovely car sits so low, I have to stick it on a bit of wood to get the jack underneath. By the way, some people put a bit of grease on their wheel nuts. It's up to you whether you want to do that or not. I would say no, because it changes the torque characteristics. Because you then got a lubricated torque. I prefer them to be dry. All right. And normally I put the wheel underneath the car, but she's a bit wide, so I'll put an axle prop under there instead. And you know what? It's only started bloody sleeting, isn't it? Honestly, the days that I choose to do this sort of stuff, but I've got to get the job done. So the old sensor is just behind here. So that's where the sensor goes into the hub, and then the cable just simply works its way around underneath here, and it goes underneath that trim. And I'm going to unplug it here first to make sure that it is the sensor just by plugging the new one in. So get yourself one of these little prong tool removals. There's a central pin that you pull out first, like this. So you get your tool in there, pull the central pin, and then you can pull the whole thing out. You can buy a box of these things on eBay. It's always good to have spares, and there's a link below if you're interested. There's one hidden behind this dirt here. These are plastic, so they're really good because they don't rust. Good engineering that. Mercedes have thought about that because they know it's going to be exposed to a lot of moisture and water, so they're just a little plastic nut. Look at this, 21 years old. This is probably the first time I'm taking it off. Look how clean that is underneath there. Excellent. Oh, there's a little hatch here. What's that all about? Never seen that before. That's interesting. I wonder what that's for. Never noticed that. Must be for some unit behind there. What's that? What's in there? What is in there? That's interesting. I'm not going to puncture that because that looks like it's as good as when it was put in new. So maybe people that know about their SLs, Mercedes SLs, can tell me what that is. It's another little couple of lugs down here. Can't believe it's now snowing. I should change my channel and call it Fixing Cars in the Rain, as one of my lovely subscribers in the south of France said to me. A guy goes by the name of Chris something. So I think that's them all. You don't need to take the whole of the liner off, you can just get in here. And that's your little connection there for the ABS. So I'm going to plug in the new one there and then check the dashboard. Okay, we're still recording. Right, so I've disconnected the old one and I'm now going to plug in the new sensor, and then we're going to check the dashboard and see if there's any faults still. There's the old connection there. Let's go and check the dashboard. Oh. So I may need to get my diagnostic tool out, but we can only hope. So it still says defective. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it off and on 3 times, because sometimes that's the default to clear the codes. Right, so before I go any further, I'm now going to get my diagnostic tool out to make sure I can definitely clear that code. So with the many diagnostic tools, I'm going to go old school. I'm going to use my iCast off. Why not? And let's see if I can get this cleared. This was one of the first, in fact it was the first diagnostic tool I ever got, and I still love it. It's still an underdog. Yes, you've got to plug a cable. No, it's not bi-directional, but I still like it. I like the simplicity of it. So let's plug her in and see if I can get these codes off my dash. Right, so I'm going to turn the key so that the lights are on the dash. And I'm going to go straight, if you hope you can, and I'm going to go straight into diagnostic. Oh, went to touch screen there, forgot it's not touch screen, so you press enter. And most importantly, I'm going to get my glasses out because I can't see what I'm doing. I'm going to go to manual because I know the area that I want to go into, saves a bit of time. And I'm going to go into electronic stability program and the SBC because it's kind of linked. So let's go into that, and I'm going to go refault code. Here we go. The left rear speed sensor, which obviously we just plugged the new one in. So I'm going to try and clear that now, and the fingers crossed it might now, well, yeah, it should take it off my dash. So let's try and do that at the same time for you. Fault lights on the dash there, and it says, you can see it says diagnostic rig. Clear faults, press enter. Then it says, do you wish to continue by pressing F2? So yes, very much so. So here we go, F2, let's watch the dash. Failed to complete erase operation. Ooh. Okay, let's not panic. Let's go back. SBC. Sometimes you've got to clear it in a certain order. Press enter. No faults found. Okay, back. You know, cars these days, we all know how sophisticated they are. They are very much computers on wheels. In the good old days, I used to use a Haynes manual, and you'd hope that you'd had the right book for your car, and then you work your way through it, hoping to try and find a bit of information that you need. However, let's move with the times. Nowadays, people ask me, how do I know the information that I do? But I use things like e-manual online, and I'll show you just how detailed these are. You pay for it once, and then you've got something like 7,000 pages worth of information specifically for your car, and you just download it. Have a look at this. So for example here, I just type in the word wheel speed sensor for the ABS sensors that we've been looking at. And you can see that it's brought up a nice little flow diagram there, and it shows, for example, we talked about the SBC control unit, how that then talks to the ESP and the BAS. And it also then shows the different functions in the car, such as the lower control panel and the control unit on the left SAM, and how all of this then works and marries together. And you can go through that and it will just give you a step-by-step information. You can then use the information from your diagnostic tool along with the e-manual online and then get right down to the problem at hand.
You can download the whole document so it's saved on your PC. You don't need an internet connection. And here, look at this. It's telling you about the highs and the lows, which is basically a Hall effect sensor. It shows you the area on the car where each of the 4 ABS sensors are. And it even indicates it, as we saw on the diagnostic tool, that L63 was the left sensor. Check component L6 left rear speed sensor. I've got an oxygen sensor which I need to replace, and it's down in the back there. So what I can do is use my e-manual and just type in oxygen sensor. Got a nice little diagram, and it tells me the different oxygen sensors on the car. It says the sensor heater of the O2 sensors downstream is actuated via the ground and pulse. So honestly, get yourself one of these manuals. This is a 21-year-old car, and look how complicated it is. So God knows what modern cars are like. Having an electronic manual that you can just quickly tap into and go and find the specific problem is absolutely indispensable. And you know, once you've got this manual, it's yours for life. There's no subscription. You can have it offline and you can look up whatever you want to, whenever you want to. Also, right now, there's a 22% discount for you down below in the description.
So I've checked the connection at the back and the new sensor looks to be plugged in correctly. There's one more fault showing on the transmission control module, and I've seen it before where if I don't clear it in a certain order, that can give me issues. So if I look into this fault code here, this is for the transmission control, it's telling me that the RPM signal is the left rear wheel speed sensor again. I'm hoping it's not the toothed ring around the hub, but right, so let's see if we can clear this code and go clear fault memory. Well, it says the operation done. That's good. It didn't say it couldn't do it, so it's done. Right, what I like to do now is go back into reading the fault code and see if it's gone. Oh, that's good. No fault codes found. Right, so now let's go back, and I'm going to go into the ESP now and see if we can clear that electronic stability module. Oh, maybe there is something on the electronic stability module. Yeah, of course, there might be something there. Traction system, wheel RPM error. Okay, good. Right, so let's try clearing that one. You can see that on 4 of the different control units, as in the computers for the car, the faults is there present, and it might just be that I've got to clear them in a certain order. So let's do that. So let's go clear that fault code. So here's something I've just found quite interesting. I've just plugged in my launch creeder here to do a full scan. I've unplugged my iCar soft. It just said it uses the same plug, and I had it. I carry both of them in my little bag here. Anyway, point is, I've had the engine on as I cold. It's been running for about 5 minutes, and I look down at the dash. There's no faults. Have a look. There is no faults on my dash. Malfunction memory, no malfunction. Is this just a lessons learned that when you plug in the ABS sensor, and I must admit I've forgotten 6 months ago when I did my rear right one, have you got to wait a little while for all the computers to talk to each other to say, you got a new sensor, all is good in the hood, problem go away? Possibly. But yeah, I'm excited now. Right, so I'm going to let this carry on doing a full system scan and grab a cup of coffee. Right, I'll see you in about 5 minutes. So the good news is the sun's come out. Yes! So I've run the report on my launch, and let's have a look to see what it says. That it's talking about the left rear signal again, rear left wheel RPM error, and look, SBC control brake, and it's also talking about the left rear speed sensor. And let's see if we can clear that code. So let's clear the fault code. Yes. Switch off ignition. Okay. Wait 10 seconds, it's going to say. Yep, and now turn it back on again after 10 seconds. Switch on ignition. Clear fault memory completed. Press OK. Right, let's see if we can read any fault codes. Yes! That's what I'm talking about. All right. Just had to wait 5 minutes. Lesson learned there. Patience is a virtue. So there you go. There's a great example. 2 lovely little diagnostic tools. The launch is bidirectional. The iCar soft, not so much. It's not bidirectional. However, importantly, they both managed to clear the codes. There's a lesson learned there. And if you're interested in any of these 2, there is a little link below from my Amazon store if you're interested. Right, I would say that's the easy bit done. I've now got to physically put the sensor on the car, and I've got a feeling that is corroded in there because the right-hand side was. So I'm going to have to get the drill out and have a bit of fun with that. Importantly though, I've done it before, and it always is the case. Once you've done it once, you know what tools to use, you've got that confidence. So enough talk, let's get on with it. Right, some light down here and see what I'm doing. So when I did this before, it was all seized up in there, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same again. This has been on this car for 21 years. I can still even see the thread lock on it. Isn't that beautiful? It's got the blue thread lock. Well, I find that stuff amazing anyway. Right, so this is going to be probably really stuck in there now. Yeah, that's not going to come out easy, is it? And this is where I had fun last time. I had to drill the bloody thing out. It should just come out, but it's no doubt. Yep, we got a corroded sensor in there. That ain't coming out in one piece, that's for sure. Bloody hell. Watch this. No! Yeah. Right, let's have some fun and games with the drill. No chance. No chance. Well, there's the old sensor. So what to do is get the new sensor, and what I'm going to do is just going to make sure that the diameter of that, I'll get a drill which is the same, and then we'll get that put into there with a little bit of grease, I think, but not on the end, just around the edge. Right. Do you know what I find amazing is this has been on the car, this sensor, the old one, for 21 years, right? And within 4 months of each other, they failed. That's pretty decent engineering, isn't it? That the sensor has been on the car for all that time and they pretty much failed exactly the same time. And there it is, the original Mercedes logo. Great engineering that. I almost don't want to throw this away. It's almost a museum piece. Right, let's drill that out. So let's get the new sensor and then let's get a nice drill bit which is the same diameter. That one looks good. Better to be too small than too big, so it's a fraction too small, but by the time I'm going to be drilling in there and stuff, it's going to be probably just the right size. Right. The thing is, I can't really get my drill in there, that's the only thing. It's a bit tight. I may start with a smaller drill, but it's only plastic, so it's not going to take a lot of effort. You have to kind of, this heat shield, you've got to bend that back a bit because it's just coming in at an angle when I drill this. Another good thing to do is measure the depth of the drill bit so that you don't go too deep. So just mark off. You don't want to go any further than this black line, so you know just to hold back a little bit. Take your time. So I've just started the car, be very careful. I see the bottom, I can't see the ring going round, so I need to go a little bit lower, drill in a little bit more. Oh, there you go, look, there's a bit of the old sensor. So I managed to clear that ABS sensor. You just got to be really diligent so you don't go all the way through, just take your time. And then jack up obviously I've got one wheel off, so the differential is going to allow you to have the engine running. You can see what I've done, and you can see then the ring moving underneath. But what I want to do now is just make sure that this is going to talk to the control units, and I'm going to see if it then shows that I've got a speed RPM going on the diagnostic tool. So I'm going to pop this in, start the car, put the diagnostic tool on, and hopefully we'll see some movement. So back with the iCar Soft, let's go into electronic stability program, and I'm trying to find where it says the speed sensors. Let's go to view data, RPM sensor, let's go into that. So we've got the left rear speed sensors, the third one down. We're obviously all at 0 miles an hour because we're not moving, but, so put it into gear, and I'm going to come off the brake and let's see what happens. There we go, there we go. I'm doing 7 miles an hour, or not really. I'm stationary, but because the wheel's jacked off the ground, I put my foot on the brake. Should come to a 0. There we go. Off the brake. She's working. She is working. And all intents and purposes, it's done. All I've got to do, I'm going to put a nice little bit of copper grease on that, but not on the end of the sensor, just around the body. I'm going to put it all back on again and put all the panels back on and take it for a test drive, and hopefully that should be it. So nice little bit of copper grease here. It's an anti-seizing compound. As I said, importantly, I'm not going to put it on the end, put it around the body, because you could see how seized and stuck the other one was. So I'm just going to put a little bit around the top. As I said, nowhere near the front there, because that could give me a false reading. Okay. Let me know in the comments if you think that's wrong or right. The new sensor comes with the same mounting lugs. So I put it in a bag, by the way, if you're wondering, because I don't want to get dirt on the end of the sensor. And here is the new sensor. I made sure that's cleaned out, giving it a little bit of contact cleaner spray inside the hole, and it's nice and clean. And there is the new sensor. Right. Let's get the screw back on again. There. She is on. She is on. Right, just need to put the lining back on now. I'm just reversing back out my drive. No more faults on my dash. And if this is your sort of thing, then consider subscribing. I specialize in car diagnostics, Mercedes SLs particularly, and obviously I like to do the job as well as just diagnose it. So, and we're all good in the hood. Thanks so much for getting to the end of this video. There's a playlist at the end. There's a whole load of goodies there that may just help you. And if I can do it for a 21-year-old car on my drive, you can do it. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.